life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Well, in a world where challenges are plentiful, it's easy for us to feel discouraged. Yet with enough guidance and support, most people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. Well, beyond your fears is everything you ever dreamed of. For the Dr. STEM Show, we'll give the voiceless a voice and the hopeless hope. And now, here she is, Dr. STEM.
Hello, real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to invite you to a free 7-day manifesting challenge. Here's the thing. I believe that we all are capable and able to achieve our dreams and desires at any time. But we have to know how to be receptive, how to manifest and receive that which we are asking for. So for 7 days, I'll be sending you an audio or video for you to watch and then do the things that I say in that video. And then after 7 days, I can't wait. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you, what you'll be able to achieve. So visit our website, www.drstemmy.com and www.drstemspeaks.com. Now, let's get into the show. Hello and welcome again to the Dr. STEM Show. As I always say, right before the show, I always have these big conversations with my guests as if we're not coming on the Dr. STEM Show. So today, I'm very, very excited to bring you Miss Annetha Jones. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. STEM. And I am so grateful to be here this morning with you. You are wonderful. I follow you, of course, and you've done an amazing job. And thank you for having me here this morning.
You're welcome. And you know that I will even be telling people that this is one of those people that I saw, you know, a butterfly, when you see a butterfly and it's about to fly and it's like, I don't know, is the world ready for me? So as you listen to this story, please, I brought her here because she is one of our phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal guests that are coming in on the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference this year.
Yeah.
It's the third one. She's one of our speakers. And I'm telling you, she was supposed to speak on Bounce Back 1 and Bounce Back 2. And she kept saying, oh, I don't think this is the time. And at that time, and I'm saying this to all of you that always have, people saying no to you or, situations that people close the doors on you, there is a time for every, thing. And to everything, there's a season, the right season. When she wrote to me this year and says, I'm finally ready. And I said, okay. But what I have seen from you is, yes, you are ready.
And excited. I'm ready. I'm welcoming of this, and I'm very excited. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of the Bounce Back Conference, the third annual.
She is ready. When we say she ready, she ready.
She ready.
So make sure you go to www.drstemmy.com and get your ticket because you want to hear her story. And today we're just going to do a general conversation where you get to know who she is, but on the day she's going to have a whole different topic. And what is your topic again? Don't allow where you're from to determine
where you're
going.
That's right.
Gives me goosebumps.
That's right.
I know all of you are ready, for that. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Annetha. Annetha Jones is the president and CEO of NEAT Consulting, and NEAT stands for Networking, Educational Advocacy and Training, which promotes educational advocacy for students. She's also a certified Georgia real estate, and she's an educator. She's a speaker, as we mentioned, and a facilitator. She's the author of one of the best books that I read this 2022. It's titled From Poverty to Principle. Her book was inspired by the obstacles that she faced as a child and life events that propelled her to promote educational advocacy for underserved students. She and her husband are retired. She's retired middle and high school principal. During her tenure, she was named Teacher of the Year, District Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year, and a finalist for the Principal of the Year. She developed 2 mentoring programs that provided more than 300 mentors to at-risk students. Let me tell you, if you are going to get a coach that can help you, especially right here in the United States, anything that has to do with understanding middle school, high school, college education, this is the lady for you. If you are a woman that is struggling with, you know what, I don't even know what I want to do with my life. Should I retire? Should I not retire? Is my career this? I'm telling you, this is the coach that you want to walk with you, but to be your best supporter. And I'm saying that, not because I know her, but I know her work and I know her impact, that it will change your life. And that's why she was selected as a speaker for the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. So I'm very excited, really excited to have you today.
Thank you for that very warm welcome, Dr. Sim. I appreciate it greatly.
I know. So tell me, I have seen you flying all around the world and doing all this. Tell us about this book, the birth of this book and what opportunities that it has opened for you, because I want to start there.
So thank you so much. I am so proud of this book. I was an educator for 31 years, and I saw a lot of things, behind the scenes. I was privy to information that affect our kids, particularly those who are underserved or at risk. And I want to make sure that I provide strategies to assist those kids to overcome common educational pitfalls. In addition to that, I too, as a child, had to become an advocate for myself because the subtitle of my book is A Guide to Promote Equity and Student Advocacy. And so I had to advocate for myself. In the 9th grade, for example, they placed me in a math class that was far below my educational potential. And I had to speak up for myself because unfortunately, my mom wasn't involved in the educational process. She was kind to me, but she wasn't involved. And so I went to the administration and said, I need to be removed. They would not remove me. I went to my mother. I said, you have to speak with them. She removed me. And from that moment forward, I continued to be an advocate for myself and others. So in my book, I talk about strategies to help other students overcome similar obstacles and also to encourage them to reach their fullest potential. So that book I'm very, very pleased with it. And I have been invited to a number of places to speak on, why I am so passionate about what's in my book. And I believe that it's going to help many students and their parents navigate the educational system.
I'm very excited. And I always like it when we have teachers and principals who, even after, because right now I think you're going to meet and impact way more parents and students than even in the 31 years that you served in the school systems. But I'm always impressed with, those of you that retire and now commit yourselves to continue to serve at a different capacity, because that's exactly what you will be doing, serving at a different capacity.
Absolutely. And it's a strange that you bring that up right now because my daughter just told me yesterday, she goes, Mommy, you're retired, but you're doing so much now, more than when you're even working. And I said, that's because I enjoy it. That's because it's in my heart. And that's because it's what I want to do. It makes me happy. So I do continue to plan to be an advocate for students and to promote equity and student advocacy.
And that's the difference, because now you're doing it in your own time,
Absolutely,
your own pace. And it's very exciting because then you get to be 100% boss lady in control, right?
and I love it. And I love it, Dr. Stem, on my own terms. I just love it, setting my own schedule, my own day, and it's wonderful.
It is so wonderful. And then guess what? It also pays off for those of you that are scared that, what will I do, when I retire? You continue to get paid. But
Yes.
this time you get to name the price.
Absolutely, on your own terms. You don't want to if you want to take a day off, you don't have to ask the boss, you're the boss. Just take the day off. But I enjoy working. I do it very regularly. I don't take many days off.
Yes.
I just enjoy it. In some aspect, I'm talking to someone or encouraging someone, doing something related to my book, just enjoying the process.
Yes. And one thing that I want everyone to know on the Dr. STEM show, we just don't inspire you, encourage you, motivate you. We bring you people like Miss Annetha Jones that can come in and tell you and say, listen, if I could do it, coming from where I'm coming from,
Absolutely.
you can do it too. So my hope is that you get inspired with guests like, her, that you also get to challenge yourself and say, okay, what can I do? How can I transform my life so that I can impact the next person? Because that's what we do this for. We go through the challenges, we struggle through the challenges, and then we flourish and allow ourselves. Like this year's theme for Bounce Back is from fear to fierce. You see, that's why we had her, because then she's coming in and telling us from poverty. So I really like that about you being able to be in this space in your life.
And I want to thank you for that as well, because I do want to be used as a vessel to help others, students, but as well as women. I've gone through quite a bit in my life, some wonderful things and also some very challenging things. And sometimes when we share those things, it helps others to realize, what, I can get through that as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. So are you ready to play? Because we came to play today.
I'm ready. They say she ready. She ready.
I'm telling you, this is the kind of energy that you get when you come on December 17th at the Bounce Back. You're going to get this kind of energy because all 11 of us, the women that are involved in the Bounce Back, we have the same kind of jovial energy. That
Absolutely.
Right? That will just help you end 2022 with a bang. And then we say we enter into 2023 with a boom. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So if I were to ask you, what is your talent? What would you say?
So actually, I believe that, and I strongly believe this, my talent is promoting equity and student advocacy, encouraging students to be their very best, to provide their parents with information to help them overcome obstacles. So I think to summarize that's one of my talents, Dr. Stem. I think I have several, but I know this is a show that we have to kind of keep moving. But one of my talents in my profession is to encourage students, assist students and their parents, and help them reach their fullest potential. And that is so important to me. That's why I became a teacher. I became a teacher that helps students. And I'm blessed because over the years, I've had many of my own students, they're grown now, of course, come to my home during the holidays to celebrate with me, call me, invite me to their weddings and their family activities. And it's been a blessing. So that's a talent that I have. That's one. And for the purpose of this show, I'll talk mostly on that. But God has given me several other talents. Like, for example, I love writing, which is why I wrote my book. And I did an anthology and another book called Women of Courage. So, and I plan to do a children's book at some point on no bullying. So I have several talents. That's the professional side. And I am very, very talented as a mother and a wife. I cannot forget about that.
That's a good one. Yes, 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 yes. No, that is really good. I don't also want you to forget that as a realtor, you want a person, who's whole and complete, the way that she says, with all those talents, family-oriented person, life-loving person, and just, a jovial person that can show you to your right home. And I've seen several pictures of her, giving the keys to homeowners that she sold. So I'm really excited that you're doing that as well.
And would you mind if I just share just a second? That is also very important to me because my husband and I had some investment properties in Florida before we moved to the Atlanta area. We sold them. Okay. But unfortunately, we came across a realtor who was unsavory in the process. And I told my husband, when I get to Atlanta, I'm going to become a certified real estate agent so that I can help our family, friends, and anyone who selects me as their realtor navigate that space in a professional and supported way with fiduciary as my goal, making sure that I give them my very best because we dealt with someone who was unsavory. And I will never, ever allow my clients to experience that particular, we corrected We corrected it, but it was not pleasant. So my clients, we celebrate, we dance, we do all kinds of fun things. And so thank you for bringing up my real estate license.
Yeah, so where can they get in touch with you? I mean, for the realtor, because I haven't seen the links for that.
So everything is connected to, I have AnnethaJones.com is my website for my book, but also there is a Calendly on there for them to make an appointment with me to speak with me about real estate. I also have info at AnnethaJones.com. I'm on LinkedIn, and my phone number, I'll put it out there right now. My phone number is 470-998-9007. Call me. I'm ready to talk with you.
Awesome. And we're going to have all the links with the show as well.
Yes.
For you to get in touch with her. So we will have, all of that. At the one with the advocacy, would you say, as you were speaking, I came up with 2 words. You belong. Like helping the students and the families to let them know that they belong, because many a time when we don't feel like we belong, we don't have a voice, we cannot advocate for ourselves. So I think you're coming in with this message that says you belong, and with that you're also giving them now the voice to be able to voice that I belong and I am supposed to be here. So you belong was what came out.
Dr. Sam, you are so good with your, tying things together and these words, you belong, because I love that, because it actually aligns directly with one of the chapters in my book, where I titled that chapter, No More Invisible Students.
Oh,
no more invisible students. And what that means is oftentimes there are students who are, for example, they don't get into trouble at school, but they don't make the highest grades. They're probably like a C minus. No one gives them awards, no one gives them accolades, and no one really sees them because they're not getting into trouble and they're not the stellar student. Those kids are considered to be invisible by some, and that cannot happen.
yes.
Like you just said, they belong. You belong. I love that. I'm using that, Dr. Stan. That's mine now. I'm telling you, that is mine now. Because
it came because of
yes,
what you, and I said, oh wow, she's actually literally telling them that,
I
what,
love that. You
show
just gave me
show
yes.
up and belong, because you belong.
I'm doing a speech on that. Thank you. Thank you. Because I believe that if it had not been for the fact that I was an athlete in school, in high school, I would have been an invisible student. Now, my grades were a little better than a C. Most of the time I did, be average or so. But I didn't have a lot of the accolades or the attention or anything going on that was so fancy. But when I became an athlete, people did notice me more. And so you belong is so important to me. Thank you for sharing that. It ties with my invisible. No more invisible students, because they all belong. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
and your merchandise that you will be creating, for your website,
I love it.
that your children will buy, it can say I belong. And
I love it.
that is a chant. Okay. So have them have the t-shirts, the hats, the everything that I belong, and that will be your merchandise that you can have on your website as well.
I need to do a plug. I need to do a plug for you right now. So everyone who's listening, so you see why this woman is my coach. She is so clever and so quick to come up with something that I am going to utilize just like that. She is an amazing coach. And I just want you guys to know that I have known Dr. Sim now for a few years, and she has deposited such goodness into me. And she's helped me with Neat Consulting, my book, personal things in my life. She has helped me so much. So if you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for a therapist, if you're looking for a person to help you grow, Dr. Stem, and I promise you, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, she is the person for you. I had to share.
Listen, we didn't plan this here. I'm just listening. She happens to be my coachee, but I'm just listening and I'm thinking. So one of the things that she will tell you as well, right? When we're doing our coaching and everything, I am also an action-oriented person. So you can't come up with excuses. So trust me, within a week, that merchandise will be on her website. So we'll have a tab that will say merchandise, and you will see I belong with her designs in there. Trust me when I tell you, and that's how we work. That's how we roll. So we
And
call
if
it,
I
right?
don't do it, y'all, she'll be calling me
Oh,
saying, what's going on here? Get on the roll.
yeah, because because then you know what, the kids, and she knows
Yes.
that my heart is with these kids. I worked with teenagers and parents for over 15 years, and my heart is always into how can we help them, rise up? How can we help them, feel supported and
Absolutely.
encouraged? And when she told me what she's going to be doing, even at retirement, it touched my heart, and I said, okay. Every idea that I could have gone through and done as a parenting coach, you get to do it and you get to take it.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. So talking about that, teenagers and preteen years, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory would be going to church with my grandmother. And by the way, I now live in Georgia. I am a Georgia peach. I was born in Georgia, moved to
Oh,
Florida. Yes, ma'am, I'm a Georgia peach. I moved to Florida when I was around the age of 6. So I spent a great deal of time in church with my grandparents and my grandmother. She was a Pentecostal minister. They'll go to church all day long. So I remember, but I don't regret it. Like a lot of kids would complain about going to church. But for me, Dr. Stem, it instilled a lot in me to be grateful for. I learned from her. So I think I was around the age of 5 or 6 when I really started to remember what I was doing when I would go very, very often to church with her.
oh, okay. That's interesting. So, do you have like, looking back at the, family members that raised you, is there a memory of something that you were taught that has helped shape who you are today?
100%. And it just ties directly with what I just said about my grandmother. My grandmother instilled in me morals and values and the importance of being a good person, a Christian. And it stuck with me so much that I can remember praying as young as being a little child, just praying for things to overcome my poverty. Of course, I did not use those words, but
Yeah.
I wanted to create something that would take me and my family out of poverty, invent something,
Yeah.
um, you know, uh, go to school, do as well as I could. And my grandmother instilled those values in me. So I definitely, thank her for that. And it resonated with me throughout my life. When I went off to school, when I left home to go to Florida State, excuse me, my husband went to Florida State, when I went to Florida A&M University and met my husband at Florida State, I prayed for my husband. I wanted to have a wonderful man in my life. I wanted to have my children from one husband. I know that sounds simple, but growing up, I didn't see where the kids all came from the same parents, and that was important. So when I left home and went to Florida A&M, he was there, Florida State. I went to the church regularly. All throughout my life, the things I learned from my grandmother and my grandparents, it has been embedded in me. And so it's been very, very important for me to hold on to those values that were taught to me at a very early age.
Thank you. And your husband's name, because you've mentioned him 3 times now without a name.
Yeah, yes, my husband's name is Cletus Jones, married 33 years. And
Oh,
yes, and
wow.
Dr. Stem, by the way, he is my assistant. So when I go show a home, he's my driver. He helps me with everything. When I go to the book events, he sets up my banners and my table and carries my books for me. He is 100% my assistant, and he's very proud of that. And I'm blessed.
Yes, yes, yes. And I like that kind of partnership, and the fact that you guys were blessed enough to even retire around the same time. I mean, that
Yes,
is unheard of. So that's
yes,
really works out for you guys.
it does.
Yeah,
We're grateful. We're
yeah.
very grateful.
And do you have children?
We have two. Jada Jones is 28, and she is an entertainment attorney in Los Angeles, California.
Yes.
And Mr. Marcus Jones is 26, and he works at his dream job location, the Georgia Aquarium, because he is an animal enthusiast. This
Oh,
this boy
wow.
has loved animals since he was talking, a little
Oh,
boy.
wow.
He's been, yes. So yes, we're blessed.
Awesome. Do you believe in God?
Absolutely, unequivocally, 110%,
How
210%.
how good has it been in your life? Go, you
I
say it like that.
I can't say enough. I truly mean that. Like my husband and I, we pray together. Like honestly, before the show started, he came in here and we said a prayer before I came on, Dr. Stem. We prayed together. My kids were raised, we prayed together.
Yes.
I believe in God, and I know without him, I wouldn't be where I am today.
You're right. You're right. Well, let him know that I am inviting the two of you before February for our February series for Valentine's. I want to have an interview with Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful.
Because at that time it will be 32 or 30.
No, we have 33 years of marriage. April will be 34, 33 still.
Okay. So
yes.
yeah. So I want you to let him know that I would love to have the two of you as part of that, because we're gonna have a whole series of couples.
We would love it. We look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Look out on Instagram, Facebook. They do have a page that actually says Mr. and Mrs. Jones. You will learn one or two things. You will learn one or two things about love and relationships, because you just don't get to 33 years without some work. And that's what I love about that channel of theirs as well.
Thank you.
Now, we all have been in this pandemic now, and we're still in this pandemic at this time. Do you have the one thing or maybe a couple of things that have helped you to hold on or bounce back during this time, of the pandemic, that you can share with our audience?
Absolutely. My family, I've talked about God, so that's always first in my life, but my family, we're very close. My husband, my children, and I were very close. And so we stayed connected because it was a hard time getting through the pandemic, particularly for my daughter, who at first was out in California all by herself, alone. And she was studying for the California bar, which is the hardest law exam in our nation. And so when we saw her eyes glaze over, we said, okay, we got to get her here. And so we stuck together. Once again, we were a praying family, and they carried me, and I helped carry my family. So that's what did it for us, my family.
Awesome. Awesome. Fear. We all experience fear at one point or another. Do you recall one or two things that you did to overcome, certain fears, and what were those fears?
So yes, you're right. We all experience fears, and I would say for me, I've had a fear of failing. I didn't want to fail. Also of how do I recover from mistakes that I've made. And now I'm at a point in my life, Dr. Stem, this fearless, like your book, free and fearless.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, yes. I know now as I grow, as I mature, everyone makes mistakes. None of us are perfect. And so if I made a mistake in my past, it's in my past. I've learned from it and I move forward. And now I'm at a point as I mature that things happen for a reason. We learn and we grow from those things. Yes. So I would say that was a hard thing for me because I wanted to make sure as I represented myself, my family, and these students. I wanted to make sure my students that were under my leadership, under my direction, that they achieved the highest possible educational goals. And sometimes, unfortunately, they would fall short, but oftentimes they would flourish and do great. So I learned to do the best I could during those time periods with whatever I was working with. And so that's where I am now.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I could talk to you forever. So right now, the work that you're doing, you're also speaking on stages, right?
Yes, that's what my need consulting is, to get out there and speak to. For example, I want to impact all educational stakeholders, and that would be the students, the parents, the teachers, the administrators, and the village, those who support the students. And so I am working towards making sure that I'm very visible in doing so. And it's important that I speak to these kids, the parents, and the stakeholders to encourage them, and also to refresh the current practices that some teachers and administrators may have, because sometimes we need to be refreshed. And I want to be a part of that process, Dr. Stem.
Yes. So because of this experience that, Miss Annetha Jones has, I want to reach out to all the teachers, and as she says, all those that have a stake in education from around the world. Because let me tell you, there is power in talking to someone whose experience can literally help you as a teacher, help your students, help your school. So you can hire her and she can come. You can see that she's, very clear when she's, on screen. So you can hire her and she can speak to your students via, excuse me, satellite, Zoom, or any other platform that you have.
Absolutely.
And literally take questions from your students. And I remember when I was teaching, I taught middle school for a year. One thing that I did was I used a lot of, people in the community to just come to my classes and give, a speech to the students, and then they get to ask questions. I used people like Miss Annetha Jones to come in and just talk to the students. And it was really helpful. Not only did it give me a break, but I wanted them to get an experience of the vast, workings of the world, on how things work out. So if you're one that is teaching, whether you're teaching virtual or in class, I, encourage you to hire her, or have your school hire her, so that she can, speak to your students, because that's going to be very, very informative.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Stem. And I love, love, love speaking to students. So call me, get me in your classrooms. You will not regret it.
So look out for the programs, because then one of the things that she's going to be doing as well is invite you, your students, teacher forums, student forums, and, do them virtual just like this year. So look out on the website. I mean, there's just so much that's going on right now. I'm just so excited for her. Anything that I have left out as we end this show?
Dr. Sim, no, I think we've covered a lot, and I am so grateful that you have invited me to be on the show. And I do want to say once again to everyone who's listening, excuse me, Dr. Stem is amazing. She's a great coach. And so call on her if you have a need. And for me, I am open and welcome to assisting however I can with any of your educational or real estate needs. I am a person who's professional. I will give you my very, very best. So don't hesitate to reach out to me.
December 17th, you all, don't forget, go to www.drstemy.com and get your tickets, because Miss Annetha Jones will be one of our guest speakers, as she's coming in to talk to us about a title that states, "Don't allow where you are from to determine where you're going."
Absolutely.
As we end this show, I know I could speak to her forever. I wrote out, something that I wanted to read to all of you, because I hope that when you watch this show over and over again, you will see Miss Annetha Jones's interview as proof of the gift of being your authentic self, free and fearless. As she said, I do have a book. If you go on Amazon, among the 40 books that are there, there's a book that she bought years ago. It's titled Unstoppable, Free and Fearless. And in that book, we talk about being you, free and fearless. She is an example of that. When we become ourselves, authentic selves, and just allow ourselves to be. Her and I, we are, believers. So, for whoever you believe, to, we believe in God. But when we allow ourselves to be used by God and be, that which we were created for, you can see the joy that's in there. So,
absolutely.
What I wrote is, ride out your storm. Your light will shine again. You are being perfected and prepared for the next phase of your life, this glorious one life that you have. So when everything else seems dark and you cannot see the light, dream about it. Know that your light will shine again. And as I always say, this is Dr. Stem.
Wow.
Be encouraged.
Beautiful.